Something happened today. Not with thunder, not with warning, but quietly. A shift, invisible to the eyes, yet loud enough for heaven to hear. It began the way all great moments do, in silence. A silence that hums beneath the noise of the world, waiting for the soul that has endured enough storms to finally hear it. You woke up thinking it was just another day. The same street, the same air, the same weight on your chest that's been there for too long. But somewhere, in the unseen, a page turned. The universe exhaled, because today wasn't ordinary. Today was an ending and a beginning hidden in plain sight. You didn't notice the way the light shifted across your wall, or the way your heartbeat synced for one fleeting second with something higher. But heaven did. They always do. All this time, you thought you were crawling through failure, that your silence, your restraint, your patience meant you were stuck. But today, heaven recorded your stillness as victory. You didn't fail, you passed. Somewhere between the words you didn't say and the battles you didn't fight, the scales tipped in your favor. You didn't win by striking harder, you won by surrendering faster. Look around you. Everything still looks the same, but the story's changed. The invisible war that's been raging behind your ordinary moments, it's over. You see, there are two worlds, the one you live in and the one that lives through you. And when the latter shifts, it always takes a moment for the physical to catch up. That's what this moment is, that pause between old and new. Somewhere above, something broke, something aligned, something that had been resisting you for months finally let go. Not because you forced it, but because you outlasted it. Heaven didn't need perfection from you, just endurance. And you gave it, even when it felt like you were falling apart. Every tear, every silent prayer, every moment you wanted to quit, but didn't. It all became evidence. Heaven doesn't measure strength by noise, but by presence. And you stayed, even when you felt unseen, unheard, undone. That's when the shift began. Because you see, divine timing doesn't arrive with fanfare. It enters like dawn, unnoticed until suddenly the whole sky is different. And now it is. Something in the realm of light has moved in your favor. The angels who have walked beside you through your chaos, they've exhaled too. They know what you don't yet, that the waiting wasn't wasted. The test wasn't about what you'd achieve. It was about what you'd choose. Would you still love when you felt unloved? Would you still give when you had nothing left? Would you still stand when everything inside begged you to sit this one out? And you did. You thought you were surviving, but you were shifting timelines. Every choice that felt small was actually seismic in heaven's eyes. Every act of kindness, every silence in anger, every no to the old version of yourself, it all rewrote your future. Today, heaven laughed, not mockingly, but in relief, because the one they called chosen has finished another cycle. You passed the test you never knew you were taking. The story you thought ended in heartbreak was actually the chapter where your strength was recorded. The betrayal that broke you wasn't punishment. It was proof that you could love without guarantee. The silence you endured wasn't neglect. It was heaven's classroom. Every time you felt abandoned, you were being trained in stillness. Every unanswered prayer was a seed waiting for the right light. And today, the light arrived. You may not feel it yet. You may still see the same bills, the same scars, the same sky. But trust me, something sacred just shifted beneath all that. It's not about what changed around you. It's about what unlocked through you. For the first time in months, the energy is different. The air knows. The light knows. Even your heartbeat knows. What's been resisting you has finally been released. The path ahead, the one that's felt blocked and silent, just cleared without you realizing. Because that's how heaven works. Quietly, precisely, perfectly. The most important shifts don't happen when you shout. They happen when you surrender. And that's what you did today, maybe without even realizing it. Some part of your soul whispered, "I trust you." And the universe answered, "Then it's done." You didn't fail because you didn't move fast enough. You passed because you didn't move when the world tempted you to. You stayed when running would have been easier. You loved when resentment was more logical. You forgave when no one apologized. That's the kind of victory heaven celebrates, the ones no one else sees. So yes, today something happened. Something invisible, yet eternal. You didn't just survive the day, you shifted the story. And soon, that shift will echo. Doors you've knocked on that stayed closed will suddenly open as if they'd been waiting all along. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe for daily cosmic insights, astrology updates, and spiritual guidance, because the universe always has a message for you. People meant for your next season will start showing up without reason. Answers will arrive disguised as accidents. And you'll look around and realize this is the reward for obedience. For so long, you thought you were losing. But heaven was documenting everything. Every ounce of patience, every held-back tear, every time you whispered, "Not my will, but yours." It was never for nothing. Heaven counts differently. They celebrate not what you gain, but what you release. You released your need to control. You released your need to be seen. You released your need to know the outcome. And that release is what unlocked this new energy. Because freedom doesn't arrive when things get easier. It arrives when you stop resisting what already is. And you did. You stopped fighting the current. And that's when the current changed direction. There's something poetic about the way God moves. He hides endings inside ordinary days. He disguises victories as silence. And he always waits until the moment you least expect it to whisper, "It's done." That whisper came today. You may not have heard it, but the world around you did. The spiritual realm did. And the next chapter of your life just took its first breath. So when you go to bed tonight, don't worry about what didn't happen. Rest in what already did. You passed, and heaven knows it. From here, everything changes quietly at first. The people who misunderstood you will feel the shift, but won't know why. The doors that denied you will reopen under new management. The opportunities that slipped away will find their way back, this time aligned with your peace, because heaven never takes without the intent to return in abundance. The reward always arrives quietly, and then all at once. That's how it happens. A new dawn, a single day that looks like every other day, until the light hits differently and your soul recognizes itself again. That's today, the day heaven rejoiced. You're not who you were yesterday. You just don't know it yet. Everything that once held you down has lost its claim. Every weight you carried through the night has dissolved under divine sunlight. And while the world will need time to see it, heaven already has. So walk forward, quietly, confidently, faithfully, because today something eternal changed its shape to match your courage. You didn't fail. You passed. And the story just shifted. Something in you broke open, not in pain this time, but in release. A surrender so pure, the heavens had no choice but to respond. You let go of the version of yourself that needed to understand everything. And that was the final key. Because faith isn't born in clarity, it's born in confusion that refuses to die. And you refused. You held on when every reason told you not to. That's what moved the mountains you couldn't see. Every unseen obstacle that's been sitting in your path, the one that made no sense, the one that made you question if God was even listening, is gone now. Not because you pushed harder, but because your spirit outgrew the lock. You don't fit the old resistance anymore. Your frequency changed. And when frequency changes, so does fate. Somewhere in the unseen, a chain snapped. The kind you can't hear, but your soul can feel. It's that lightness in your chest you can't explain. That sudden peace that feels undeserved. That's the sound of freedom finding you. Heaven is rebuilding around your obedience. Every time you said, "I trust you," through tears, you gave the divine permission to rearrange the earth in your favor. And now, the rearranging is complete. The doors that once denied you are unlocking one by one. The paths that disappeared in the fog are revealing themselves again, but they lead somewhere higher now. This is what it looks like when divine timing catches up to human patience. You see, destiny doesn't arrive on schedule. It arrives when your heart finally aligns with what it was created for. And today, that alignment is perfect. For years, heaven has been waiting for this, for your stillness, your surrender, your yes. And now that you've given it, the orchestration begins. People are being moved like chess pieces. Opportunities are shifting. The spiritual wind is rearranging everything connected to your name. All because you didn't quit when quitting made sense. You didn't break the pattern by shouting at it. You broke it by outlasting it. And heaven noticed. This is where everything begins to converge. The prayers you forgot you prayed are being answered now, not as you asked, but as you needed. That's how divine intelligence works. It waits until the soul matures enough to receive without breaking under the blessing. And you're ready now. You think the world has been still, but it's been trembling with anticipation for this moment. The energy around you, the air itself, is thicker with purpose. You can feel it when you breathe, something sacred approaching. It's not coincidence, it's confirmation. You've reached the moment where waiting ends and becoming begins. The universe doesn't need you to chase anymore. It's moving toward you now. Your effort has turned into magnetism. Your prayers have turned into gravity. The energy of alignment. It feels like quiet power, like a rising tide under still waters. You are standing in that tide right now. Listen. Can you feel it? The hum that's been beneath your chest for months is louder now. That's the sound of purpose remembering your name. That's the sound of destiny unlocking itself. What once resisted you has become the foundation for your next rise. The same pain that almost ended you has become your qualification. You're not walking into the new season as the wounded. You're entering it as the transformed. Every story of resurrection begins with stillness. Every victory starts in silence. You lived that silence longer than you thought you could, and now it's time for the sound. The sound of heaven celebrating. The sound of chains turning into instruments of praise. The sound of angels whispering, "They made it. You didn't fail. You passed." And now the reward begins. At first, it will happen quietly. Small signs, subtle shifts. You'll wake up one morning and feel lighter. Someone will say your name differently, softer, with reverence. A message will come through that you'd stopped expecting. And then, all at once, everything will move. The alignment will no longer be invisible. It'll be undeniable. People will look at you and say, "You've changed." And they'll be right. Because this is what divine completion looks like. Not fireworks, transformation, not noise, authority. The kind of authority that comes from surviving your own darkness and still choosing light. Heaven has been waiting for this version of you, the one who no longer begs for signs, but becomes one. You are the sign now. The living proof that endurance is louder than fear. Every moment of silence built your credibility in the spiritual realm. Every night of crying rewrote your blueprint with gold. And now, you're walking as a vessel of divine resilience. The universe knows your name. The earth recognizes your vibration. Even time bends slightly when you walk now, because your alignment is exact. From this moment forward, you'll notice patterns reversing. The things that once drained you will lose their power. The places that once rejected you will feel too small for your energy. And you'll understand, you never lost anything. You were being redirected. Heaven removes before it restores. It empties before it overflows. And that's what the last chapter was, an emptying. But this one is overflow. This is your arrival, not at a destination, but at yourself. You've spent years searching for the moment you'd finally feel free. And here it is, disguised as an ordinary day that carries the weight of eternity. Something shifted, not just around you, but within every cell of your being. The old stories no longer fit. The shame no longer sticks. The fear no longer whispers loud enough to matter, because your spirit has remembered who it is. And once remembrance happens, nothing can stay the same. The wind knows your name now. The stars realign when you speak, because heaven has declared you complete. Take a breath, feel it. That's not just air, that's peace. The kind that doesn't visit, it stays. You've crossed the invisible line between endurance and reward, and now everything you've prayed for is turning toward you, quietly, gently, perfectly on time, because the promise never left. It was just waiting for you to be ready. You are ready. Ready for the abundance that no longer scares you. Ready for the love that no longer drains you. Ready for the purpose that no longer hides from you. You are ready because you've been refined. Every time you whispered, "I'll keep going," you didn't fail. You passed. And now the world begins again, in your light.